Welcome to the Scorezle Podcast, where athletes from college stars to pros share their secrets. We bring you and your child's game the tips, tricks, and insider pointers to level up and unlock the magic within. Today, we're joined by professional soccer player Malik Thom. He's here to share his best drills for practicing at home, the words of wisdom from his mother and father that kept him going, and his insights on leadership both on and off the field. Don't miss out on this inspiring episode.
Look, this that Scorezle magic, nothing average. If you can dream it, then you can have it. On and off the field, you know the deal. Keep your head in the game and you rise for real. Go.
All right, welcome to another edition of the Scorezle Podcast. We're very excited to have a special guest. Malik Thom is a professional soccer player, where his journey from a young boy with a dream to be an accomplished athlete is nothing short of inspiring. That's why we have him on today. He began his love affair with the sport at the age of 5. His early years were marked with constant movement across the United States. From Louisiana up to Alaska, this gave him a diverse, challenging environment. Despite the odds, Malik's natural talent combined with relentless hard work and unyielding mindset propelled him to the professional level. So Malik, welcome to the podcast. We are excited to have you on today. But let's start at the beginning. Share a bit about that upbringing, especially with the journey across different states across the U.S. and how that influenced your love for soccer.
Sure, yeah. Just want to say again, thank you guys for inviting me on. Yeah. It's awesome to be here. And to start with my youth journey, I mean, it was a little different to most kids. My dad was in the Air Force, and he met my mom in Germany. So kind of moved around most of my life, but I ended up starting soccer when I moved to Louisiana. I was about 3-4 years old. And from there, I kind of just stuck with it. Typical American kid, tried all the sports, baseball, football. But my mom's side always loved soccer. They're from Europe. So I just stuck with it. And then as we moved on to different states, we went to Alaska afterwards, and I just kept playing. Wow. And I guess the challenging part was it wasn't like the most desirable states, so or not living in New York City or LA, where it's like you get all this exposure and there's, scouts and coaches everywhere watching you. It was like, oh, you're in Alaska, but who's watching, youth soccer players in Alaska? So it was definitely an interesting childhood for sure.
When you said you started at 4, that instantly resonated with me because that's the age that my children have started with soccer. It's their favorite sport. So I'm just curious, as you're going through your childhood, when did you latch on to dreams of, I want to be a professional? Because my 2 little kiddos, one thinks he's Messi, one thinks he's Ronaldo already, right? So I'd like to hear from an actual pro as to when did you have that vision?
Yeah, it took a while, actually. I mean, when you're that young, you're more just trying to enjoy it and have fun, right? So I didn't even think about playing pro. I didn't even watch soccer at all when I was 8, 9, 10 years old. Like, I probably didn't start watching until I think the 2010 World Cup, and I was like 12 at the time. So, but when I really realized like this is it, was we moved to North Dakota after Alaska, and we were so isolated. And I don't know, I had this moment when I was about 13, and I was like, it seems like all the chips are stacked against me. I don't have any opportunity to play in college or to play professional. So I was like, I'm going to work extremely hard now. And it wasn't about money or fame or anything like that. I just wanted to kind of prove that even though I came from all these random places, like I could make it to the next level. And that was kind of like the turning point for me and when the real work started.
Man, that's awesome. Awesome, Malik. You've got some natural ability. You've got natural ability on the soccer field, but combined with hard work and persistence, what mindset do you have, and how did you develop that to overcome any setbacks that you faced along the way?
Yeah, it was tough at times. It took a lot of relentlessness, and I give credit to my parents as well. My mom especially. I remember I was in high school in North Dakota, and I was getting so frustrated. I think I was going into my freshman year, and I was on the verge of like varsity and JV, and I just felt like, I'm doing so well. I'm better than all these guys. And my mom's like, just work harder. You have to go out there and put extra work in. It's not just about natural ability. You have to train, you have to hone your skills. So she kind of instilled that in me. My father as well. My dad played college football, American football, at the Division I level. So most of our family we were already athletes, but we kind of always had a chip on our shoulder. We had to kind of fight and claw to get the things we wanted, at least in the sports world.
I love when your mom said, well, go work harder. What did that mean to you? What kind of work were you putting in? How are you training above your peers and colleagues?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys know, there's a video on YouTube. So back then, I didn't have an iPhone. So I had like those entry-level smartphones where you could go on YouTube. You could only use Wi-Fi. And I saw videos like, how bad do you want it? And it was like this guy, and he was training super hard, had like this motivational music, all that stuff. And the guy was like, oh, you got to get up early. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get up before school and I'm going to go outside. I'm going to go for a run, or I would go to our soccer field before school even started. So I'd be out there at like 6 a.m. as a 13, 14-year-old in North Dakota, sometimes when it's like 20 degrees, 30 degrees. So that, when I watched that video, when I talked to my mom and that whole switch kind of flipped, that was when I started going out, putting in the extra work. And yeah, just going to the field, running on my own, staying after team trainings. And at the time as well, when I was in middle school, I was playing American football and I was running track and I was playing soccer. And I remember I would have like American football practice, and then right after we have soccer practice. And then I would stay extra to run a little bit to prepare for track. So it was like a lot going on. It was the mindset that I needed if I wanted to kind of make it to that next level.
A father in the Air Force. Talk to me about the upbringing. So we've got a lot of parents that are listening. What was like the best attribute or the fatherly figure that you had as a man in the Air Force, and what he instilled on you in your upbringing to be excellent at soccer?
Yeah, my dad is my best friend, really. I mean, we've been together like most of my life because I'm an only child as well. So it's just my mom, my dad, and me. So I looked up to him a lot. He was always a big guy. Every time we go outside, you're like, you're so big. Like, he was a bodybuilder as well. So it was like, I'm kind of looking up like, dang, I reached out. He never played professionally, so I always kind of try and hold that over him. But he taught me a lot, just good values. He's a great human being to treat people with respect, no matter, what position they are in their life. If it's like that typical saying, if it's like the janitor, you treat him the same as the CEO, right? So he taught me a lot of those things, life lessons, working hard, staying persistent. There's many times I wanted to give up, and my dad was there for me. My mom was there for me. So I owe a lot to him. And it was just great to have him as a father figure to look up to.
It's great to have that support. I'm just curious, as you had that support, that mom, that dad that was there rooting for you, helping you, pushing you, was there any advice or words of wisdom that they may have provided to you at a younger age that still resonates with you today?
Yeah, I mean, just like the work hard thing, that still sticks with me. It's simple, but my mom telling me that, it's stuck in my head. And because I was a bit lazy as a kid, as most kids are. I was hanging around, playing a lot of games. I was always playing like a World of Warcraft when I was younger, or like Call of Duty or something. But when she said that, it kind of switched. And then I got my smartphone, started looking at these motivational videos. And then on my dad's side, he always told me, since I was, I don't even know, 10 years old, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I guess that's like a typical military saying, but it's so true, because it's one thing just dreaming and like, I want to be a professional soccer player, but you have to put a plan into place. And that was what I wanted to do from a young age. So step by step, start small. For kids that are listening, maybe your plan is, hey, I want to make the high school JV team, or I want to make my club team. And then from there, you go step by step. Okay, now I want to make varsity. Now I want to try and get in front of college coaches and get in a scholarship or become a walk-on. It could be small goals, little or big goals, but you take it one step at a time. So you have to plan. And that was the biggest quote my dad used to say as I was growing up. That sticks with me now.
That's awesome, Malik.
Yeah.
So speak to the kiddos, the youth sports. They focus so much on their skill set, honing their skills, thinking about themselves. What does it take to be a great teammate? What are the characteristics that either you have or you've seen in others on the soccer field on what a great teammate looks like?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it all playing at this level. And even when I was a kid, we've all had teammates that they might not be the best on the field in terms of like personality. You might clash with them, but I think to be the best teammate, you have to be humble. You have to be willing to listen, respect other people's opinions. Don't get upset if someone's trying to give you constructive criticism. Obviously, don't just be bullied and let people kind of step on you. But it's a competitive environment being an athlete. Even as a kid, everyone's trying to prove something. So you have to be willing and open to take criticism. You have to, again, remain humble, treat everyone with respect, help your teammates, be a leader. And being a leader doesn't mean you have to be the loudest one. I was never the loudest one, but it's through your actions. You help your teammates up when they fall. You put your arm around their shoulder if they're down or they miss a shot or whatever. Just be a good person and a good teammate to them, and people will respect you for that.
That's great. And switching gears, thinking about the parent side of things, with youth athletes nowadays, there's multiple sports. You experienced that. You said you played football, track, soccer. As a parent of youth athletes, in your opinion, how many sports are too much, and how do we help balance the time between sports, academics, and social life?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, it was tough for me as well. I think at a really young age, when you're in elementary school, there's nothing wrong with experimenting, trying different sports. I'm trying to kind of get involved as many as you can to see what you really love or really enjoy. I think once you hit that age around 12, 13, 14, you're kind of getting close to going into high school. This is my personal opinion. I mean, people might feel differently, but I think once you get around that age, you should start to understand, okay, this is the one that I want to spend most of my time on. And I know there's some great dual sport athletes that have played like multiple sports, even at the pro level. I mean, it's unheard of usually, but it's possible. So I don't want to discourage people from that. But at the same time, I think dedicating your full time to one sport that you really love and enjoy is more beneficial long-term for you. And then obviously juggling the academic side is hard. So make sure you understand what your priority is. If you want to be a pro athlete, it's great. But at the same time, you want to have something that you can look towards, because it's not a career that lasts forever. So make sure you focus in school as well, of course. But make sure you put in a good amount of time into your craft. You should be training a lot. You shouldn't be just kind of goofing off doing other things when you know you can be training for your sport or academically. So it's hard to have the balance, I know, but yeah, just understand what's important to you. That's what I would say.
Malik, I have a question around you entering unfamiliar territory and situations and how you handled that. Meaning, I typically think of an excellent athlete that may grow up in a town their whole life, and they get familiar with their competitors, their teammates, and they're excellent on their team, but they get to know them as they grow up all the way through high school. You're an excellent athlete that continued to move, and you had to insert yourself, I'm sure, on a new team that no one has met you before. You're coming into a new state, a new town, and you're good. And you're joining a team that maybe someone else was the best player on the team, but now you're new to North Dakota, Alaska, etc. Do you have a particular story that like resonates with you, or with moving town to town and entering a new team and being very good at what you do?
And quite a few, you know. I can go one from the youth and one post-college professional. When I was going to Australia for the first time, it was on the other side of the world, right? thankfully they speak English, but it's still a different culture, different lifestyle. So I had to go 25-hour flight across the globe. So it was hard coming in and you're trying to fit in. I was one of 2 or 3 foreign players, because when you play overseas, there's only a certain amount of foreign spots that you can take on a team. Luckily, people were very kind and helpful to help me settle in, but you still go there. It's a competitive environment. There's guys that have been there for years and you're looking to take their spot, so it can get a little weird. But I think it's best that you just kind of try to integrate as well as you can into the team and be open, meet people, talk to people. It's hard. I'm an introvert myself, so it's hard to get out there sometimes, but they're your teammates. At the end of the day, everyone has your back. There's a competitive edge and you're competing for spots, but if you be open and you put yourself out there, people will have your back. And then at the youth level, I think when I went from Alaska to North Dakota, because in Alaska, I was probably like that guy, in Alaska. I was playing very well, and at one point, people were like, "Oh, you're a great player, man. Like, you're probably the best player in the state." And then the next year, I moved to North Dakota, and it's a different environment. You got to prove yourself again. No one knows who you are, so it's like, oh man, I don't know how this is going to work out. I was a lot worse at putting myself out there at that age, so it was tough, but. Again, as time goes on and you prove yourself and you perform, people will respect you, and all you can do is just put your head down and keep grinding, keep training, keep performing, and people will respect you.
As you think of your journey, can you think of a large road bump or a large obstacle as you were trying to become a professional athlete and how you overcame that?
Yeah. After I left North Dakota, I was turning 16 and we came to the DC area. So we moved to Maryland, Rockville, Maryland, like 30 minutes outside DC. So that was a big roadblock because I was going into my junior year of high school. And at that point, everyone is already on the radar for college coaches, and they know, most of them kind of have an idea where they're going to play, at what level, Division I, Division II, Division III, whatever. So I came brand new again as a 16-year-old, and I was frustrated because I had to prove myself again. I didn't have any contacts. I had to try out for the varsity high school team, and I was just on varsity, but I got to try out again. And it's more competitive because it's DC. There's way more people. It's not North Dakota soccer. It's people here. There's guys that were just in the Olympics playing. So it's a very competitive thing. But it was a roadblock because I had to go out. I had to prove myself again for the 4th, 5th time and earn the respect of coaches. And luckily I did well and got the opportunity to play college soccer. It was like a last minute thing. I was a senior, had no opportunities. I had American University, a Division I school, and then UDC, Division II, and that was it. All my other peers are like, "Oh, I can go to Maryland or Virginia Tech or here, and it was a little bit sad, but when you keep working, you put the work in, it'll pay off. Another roadblock I had was when I graduated college. It was 2020, so it was COVID lockdown time, and at the time there was no professional opportunities. People were in their bubble, so it was like no new people are coming in. I couldn't do any tryouts, so I trained by myself from lockdown for about a year and a half, just training by myself, going to the gym, going to the field, before I could finally sign like a contract.
As you look into the future, Malik, what does that look like for you? What do the next 2, 3, 5 years look like?
Yeah, I mean, I was in Orlando, Florida, just a couple months ago. Things didn't work out too well at the team. There's, financial troubles and all that. So right now I'm back in the DC area looking for the next opportunity. But while I'm here, I'm coaching. I have a lot of kids. I'm coaching private sessions and group sessions, working with like a local club in the area. So just trying to stay involved in the game, keep fit, train, and look for the next opportunity. You never really know where it can take you. I could end up in Europe or Asia or the States. So that's kind of what it's looking like right now.
Good luck on your journey. And as you're talking about coaching, our next section is actually called Kids Corner.
Corner, here we go. Ask the pro, learn and grow. Tips and tricks from the best. Get ready, put skills to the test.
Where Seth and I ask children for questions they have for a professional athlete. And one question comes from Joey from Albany, New York, and it correlates to coaching. What is one drill or practice that I should be doing to help me improve my soccer skills?
Okay. I think the most basic thing, Joey, is find a wall. You have a ball and you have a wall. And that's all you really need. You can hit the ball against the wall, work on your first touch. You can dribble. You can, even if you don't have cones, you can throw a couple pair of socks around and dribble, weave in and out of the socks. Use the wall, work on turning, passing, first touch, all basic things that you need as a soccer player. So ball in the wall, best drill you can ever do, especially for young players.
That's great advice, and I think I'll build one to prevent my children from kicking the ball in the house anymore. It's driving me crazy.
Yeah, all been there. We've all been.
Yes. So Malik, your journey of resilience, hard work, overcoming obstacles, moving from state to state, playing overseas. It's truly incredible and it's admirable. And we love to invite you to the Scorezle family. So really, you possess the mission and the values that we try to share with our audience here at Scorezle. So we've created a custom card for you, which I'll present to you in just a moment. And with your approval, we will put this on our next production run and be sure to get you a copy. So let me pull that up for you real quick.
That's awesome. Hopefully it's not a prank.
All right, here we go. No prank, no prank.
Magic
Malik.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. We see the stats here.
Yeah.
Offense, 6. All right, that's better. As long as it's higher than defense, that's good.
And just so you know, Malik, those are great stats. Those are incredible stats. So just wanted to share that. And as we're looking at this card, number 7, does that mean anything to you?
Yeah, I mean, that's the number I wore at my second professional contract in Maryland. So also my mom's birthday is July 7, 1977. So her thing is 7777.
Nice.
So,
That's awesome.
That's cool.
The beautiful card. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, so with your approval, you're part of the family. You possess our values, and we'd love to put this in the next production run, Malik.
Yeah, you have my approval 100%.
Awesome. Welcome to the family, my friend.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, I definitely need a copy of that card.
Yeah, you got it. We'll send you a digital copy, and then once we print it, we'll share that with you as well. So Malik, we've asked you a lot of questions. You've given us great insight for our audience, both parents and youth athletes. But we also want to hand it over to you. Is there anything you want to share with our audience whatsoever? Maybe something you're working on currently, or any advice or guidance? The floor is yours.
Yeah, I have an online training business, so there's programs that kids could buy, soccer players, not even kids of all ages. There's guys I work with in college, even in the pro game, that I've bought some programs. So I have a website, tffootball, futbal.com. You can look on there. It has a little bit of my overview about me, and then some of the programs offered, have guidance, one-on-one Zoom calls. If you're in the DC area, I'm not sure how many will be watching, but I could even do in-person sessions with you. So you can contact me on there. And yeah, and advice to the kids watching, I just wanted to say to be persistent. I definitely didn't have like the easiest road to come to the pro game. So no matter where you are, even those kids in Montana, Alaska, North Dakota, wherever you are, keep working, keep believing, network with as many people as you can, be kind, be a good person, and things will work out for you for sure if you put the work in. Yes, thank you guys again. I appreciate it.
To our Scorezle family, remember to take Malik's advice to heart. Believe in yourself, stay committed, work hard, and find that magic from within. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Scorezle Podcast.
Look, this that Scorezle magic, nothing average. If you can dream it, then you can have it. On and off the field, you know the deal. Keep your head in the game and you rise for real. Go feel the beat and let it flow. Tell the world, make sure they know. Just work hard, let your talent show. Can't stop where we bout to go, no. Teamwork, make the dream work. Together we achieve more, that's some real work. With every single cheer and shout, we show 'em what we bout. No matter what the sport, they can't count you out. And with scores side by side, let's make a pact to win and blow they mind. No matter what we face, you know we got each other's back. In the game or in life, and it's just like that. A little bit of soul and faith is all it takes to reach the top in this game. Confidence will put you in a better place. See it through every step of the way. This that Scorezle magic, nothing average. If you can dream it, then you can have it. On and off the field, you know the deal. Keep your head in the game and you rise for real. Go feel the beat and let it flow. Tell the world, make sure they know. Just work hard, let your talent show. Can't stop where we bout to go, no. Just believe and achieve, and join the Scorezle team.